Yo, check it out, dude. He just launched his video about the solar board. Dude, we're watching this one for sure. No way, seriously? Oh man, definitely. I want to watch that one. After his last video, dude, that thing looked worse than my hair.
Okay, well, I figured I'd make this video and talk about my solar board. It looks really bad, I know, but it works, and it was a build as I go kind of situation. I'm going to go ahead and light it up. You can see my battery bank right here. I've got two 12-volt lead acids, nothing special. They're the cheapest batteries I can get. I'm on a budget, so I didn't try to spend a lot of money on this. I went to Harbor Freight and I got my inverter, and I picked up their battery 2-aught gauge connection wires for this, and I linked them in, and then I kind of made my own with 2-aught. And honestly, I didn't buy crimps. I did copper pipe. I did 3/4 and 1/2 inch copper pipe depending on what size wire I was using. A lot of this is 2-aught. So I wired these in, I believe parallel is how I got them, so it's still a 12-volt system. The inverter I got from Harbor Freight. This is the second biggest inverter at the time. It's only big enough to run a little small 110 refrigerator, and that's what I had been using. And I bought a Mega 175 amp fuse that I linked in right here on the positive side of my board to the inverter. And I brought my negative up to a homemade bus bar right here. And like I said, I made a lot of my own connections with pipe and stuff, but it's been proven tried and true. If you're on a budget, you can do this. I don't really recommend it. This is something that you do when you absolutely have to, and I absolutely had to. So let's cover this side of the board coming up so you can understand it. So I have my batteries, comes up my positive. This right here is my amp meter. This tells me what I have coming in and what I have going out as far as my amp draw in general. It comes up to my shut-off switch, which shuts off everything in here except for my lighting and two USBs, and that's it. And I did that by running my power straight up from my charge controller. I have this taped. As you can see, I am charging, my PV's flashing, my batteries are good. So it's up and running. I just taped over that for the sake of the eyes into the camera. I linked this over, went straight from the charge controller straight through on one side down to my batteries, so I'm always going to charge into my batteries. But when I come back up, I can kill power to my inverter and anything else power-wise that I have hooked up to my next item on this box, which is my fuse box right here on my panel board. This is where I put all my fuses. I have my furnace right now that's an RV furnace that I bought new parts for, put them in, and I'm currently testing before I put in permanent locations on these items. So I ran it temporarily out of here. That's one of the reasons why I have wires all over the place, is because a lot of this was build as you go and trial and error. Is it going to burn out on me or not? So that's one of the reasons why it looks like a major rat's nest. But this fuse box up here, I went ahead and ran down to the bus bar column. So if I throw this switch, it shuts off this right here, which kills all the power everywhere. The way I got away from that for the lighting system is this Harbor Freight charge controller that came with my original kit, which is in my original tour when I first got it from years ago. And it has the two USBs and the two lights. And that is also linked directly into the same side of the switch that my other charge controller is linked into, and both of these work together. As a matter of fact, this one talks to this one more than this one talks to this one. So they both agree with each other, and there's been no problems. This system has been operational without any issues whatsoever for about 3.5 years through crazy washboard dirt roads and everything. So I've never really had any issues. So this is my MPPT tracker. It's my my charge controller that I decided to go with. Now this gave me the option for 12 and 24, and I kept it on 12. My solar array right now is split between two. I have this one on a 175 watt panel up on the roof, and then I have this one right here on a 135 watt panel up on the roof. These coils right here of wires happen to be the temperature sensor for the negative terminal for the tracker. And this is a EP Ever, in case you're wondering. And I know there's probably better ones out there, but at the time this was the best one that I wanted to go with. So that has the covers or the coil right there that goes down, and if it overheats, it'll let this thing know and it'll do its thing to, you know, control the system. It also has another wire right here that goes to the MT50, I believe, which is over on the other side with my meters and stuff. I'm not really going to show those right now. I just want to focus on the board. But it does have those with wires. You can take them wherever you want. And then down here, in this connection right here, is my shunt. And this was the brain of the system. This was one of the most important items that I had come across that I had added into this whole solar configuration. I did put a fuse right in here just to let you know. I fused the link between the charge controller and the battery station right here with a fuse. I forget exactly what size it is. There's other videos out there that show the size. I'll put probably the size of the fuse. I believe it's like 45, 50 amp, I think is what I put it at. Probably 45, because this is a, I believe, a 45 amp charge controller, 50 amp charge controller. So I went ahead and fused that on the positive side so that I wouldn't have any worries. And then I made sure everything was grounded. I took it all the way up, and I had actually grounded it through the fuse box up to the terminals there. And then I have other grounds that come around on this side. These two lines right here actually go to my shore power box that burned out. I have a video on that I just launched. You guys should check that one out. It shows what went wrong with this one and, you know, some things about it. But these are the initial power lines that go to my bus bar columns to power up the DC side of this, so that I was able to charge my batteries in return when I plug my shore power in. So I have to go get a new one of those, unfortunately. The other thing I did is I fused, with simple fuses, I fused in my solar panel feed. So I have my one solar panel coming down and around and into the charge controller, and that's the 175 watt. And then the 135 watt I split different through a different set of fuses all the way into the charge controller from Harbor Freight. And so that's how I split my panels, because at the time there was no information on how to link panels that were two different watt inputs. Other than that, there's not really much else except for my branch circuits that go out and around. I have another feature which is right there and here at my feet, which I'm not really going to talk too much about, because this is a whole nother video I want to make, because this is a different project to supply a recharge system for this. If it looks familiar, there's a lot of other videos. This one's super simple, okay? But as far as the board's concerned, that is pretty much it. This runs my fridge and my light up at my fly tying desk. And then my DC runs my TV and my furnace and a couple of other things. And that's pretty much the breakdown of my board. That's how I put it together. And I put it together piece by piece, so I had to kind of reconfigure stuff, which is why it looks like this, but it is 100% functional and has been for 3+ years. So if this helps you out as far as understanding this and taking a good look and seeing how I put something together so that you can see the fuses and stuff like that that I've used in the configurations that I've explained, then let me know. Drop a like, share it with a friend if you would please. I'd appreciate it and might help them. And then smash that subscribe button and kick that bell out of the window, okay? That way you get notified every time I drop a video.
Oh man, that's good to know. I was getting a little worried. I would just put my food outside if my power went out. What do you think? Reef, what are you talking about, man? You have your food outside all year round anyway. Guy doesn't even have a fridge.